Hey everybody, we're live and wow, the the Dallas Cowboys are blowing out the New York Giants. And wow, the Dallas Cowboys are blowing out the New York Giants. And what do you think about that, Bill? How you doing? Bill, our
Well,
NFL draft expert, Bill
yeah.
Carroll.
As you might remember, I said I didn't see the Giants making the playoffs this year, and I thought they'd end up actually finishing at the bottom of the division. So it makes you feel a little bit more confident in what I said about that. I thought that they in Washington would battle out for the bottom spot. I thought Washington would edge them, at least in part because I thought that there'd be some aggression to the mean. Brian Daboll worked essentially a almost magical kind of situation with that offense last year.
Mhm.
And I just didn't think that that would be sustainable. And
Why is that?
frankly, several reasons. One is the quarterback, Daniel Jones. He's not terrible. He's not the worst. He's not a person who doesn't deserve to be in the NFL. But
He's
everything has to
like Jim Carrey,
go.
doesn't he?
But everything has to go close to perfect for him to just be average. So, and to be above average, I don't think it's sustainable, or much above it. I don't think it's sustainable. He's a good athlete, one of the better athletes at the position, but he doesn't have a great ability to see the field, and that's really the first thing. He's got, I would say, solid average accuracy. I think that here's where he's above average. He's got above average mental and physical toughness. He's got above average speed, above average athletic ability. He's got average accuracy, and then in everything else, he's somewhere from below average to poor. Below average anticipation, below average ability to spot disguised coverage, below average ability to make an adjustment between pre snap and post snap picture changes. So when you talk about the greats of the greats, what makes Tom Brady special? What makes Mahomes special? What made Montana special? Is that even when you quote unquote surprised them, even Manning, whatever, somebody they didn't see coming, and you change the picture on them, you spring a surprise on them. They had even that surprise didn't surprise them very long or very much. They had enough in both their memory banks and their ability to adjust that they would adjust to your adjustment on the fly in
Hmm.
the moment. That's something Daniel Jones does well. He can adjust to what he's seen on tape, and when he recognizes what you're doing and it matches up with what he's seen on tape, he can be effective. But when goes from what he's seen on tape when he studied for this game, right, like the good Duke student that he is, to something different, something that is not aligning with what's going on in his mental process. Now there's that moment of a brief moment of panic and disruption in his mind. And in the NFL, you don't get long to right. NFL stands for not for long. So if the ball was to come out in 2.2 or 2.3 seconds, if 6/10 of that is, oh wait, this isn't what I thought was going to happen, then it takes an almost miraculous recovery for that play not to be a negative one.
Well said, well stated, well stated. Hey, and having said that, let's quickly review. We've never done this before, folks, like this. I'm really. Why am I cringing over this, Bill? I don't understand. Anyway, but I am actually cringing over this, but I'm going to do it
Okay.
anyway. I'm pulling the trigger.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right, here
pull the trigger.
this is from last week. These are the actual, these are the statements that we made, the predictions area. So I'm going to play what we said, and then we'll go back and find out what actually happened. All right, here we,
Yes.
and while I'm doing that, I'll make sure the ESPN, I have a page open for the ESPN window,
Yeah.
so I don't
Yeah.
miss
Just mute it. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And yeah, so I got all that. All right, so now that I got that, now that I got that, I got that. All right, now I go here, get rid of that one, and we're gonna have some fun here
Yes.
with this
And a certain amount of embarrassment.
uh, a large amount. All right, here we go. All right, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, you had Buccaneers Chiefs. You had Buccaneers Chiefs Super Bowl 55. They met each other in the regular season, and they matched at the Super Bowl.
Let's knock this out real quick. Thursday night, Detroit visits Kansas City. What you got, Bill?
I think it's a very close game, but I still have Kansas City.
Oh, Vinny.
Give me KC and winning week 1.
No. I'll take KC in a blowout. Oh, so wait a minute. We all picked KC.
Yes, but you're the only one that predicted a blowout. so we all lost, but you were first amongst losers.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, you were trying to equivocate. Let's be honest.
I wasn't equivocating. I knew that game was going to be close. That's not equivocation. I knew that game was going to be close.
That's true. You did.
I was definitive about that. It was going to be a very close game.
We have it on record. You said it.
Yeah, because I knew that's how it was going to be.
I, on the other hand, and I said this to you, and I still say I was completely shocked. And I don't think it had anything to do with, Travis Kelce and Chris Jones being out. I think the same thing would have happened anyway. I really believe that the Chiefs. Go ahead.
I'm going to differ. I'm going to differ with you real quick.
All right.
What Kelce does to you defensively opens things up for other people, and it would have taken the pressure off of those young. Clearly, the moment was too big for a lot of those young receivers, but the moment would have been that big for them if their big brother, in essence, was on the field with them.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other aspect of this that I, frankly speaking, didn't expect was I really love the Lions' run blocking. It reminds me, it's rough, it's pointillist, it has tight end traps, it has the occasional trap, it has fold blocking.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a 20th century style of blocking rather than this, I call it lazy, slothing, push type of blocking that people call zone blocking today. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm reminded of a term that Ken Wisenhunt coined, or maybe he coined. He's
What's
credit
he doing
for
now,
it.
by the way?
I don't know, fishing, hunting.
He's out of football. Wow.
I mean, he's not, to my knowledge, and he's not in the league. I know that much. He may still be in football somewhere. But back to Ken Wisenhunt. He's probably, was it the term they use? He's probably yet another one of those analysts. Probably he's probably an analyst at Alabama. That's where coaches go to rehab and recover. But guess what? I was right. He is a special assistant to the head coach at University of Alabama. So I was close.
Nick Saban?
Yeah, he's working for Saban. But
so do we blame him for the Crimson Tide loss?
No, he's just a special assistant. So no, there's they have a lot of problems that people seem to paper over because they're Alabama. And if you change the name and showed me the exact same roster, I would predict an 8 or 9 win team in a league as tough as the SEC. The only reason people thought they'd win more is because they name out the big giant A. But that's our college football content, I guess. But go through that roster. The offensive line is not an exceptional offensive line. The defensive line is better than average, but it's not up to their standards. They don't have a single Deron Payne type guy. They don't have a single. I mean, think of there's no Will Anderson. Like the best of their guys aren't on this line. And the main problem, obviously, is they don't have a quarterback that they truly trust to run all of their offense.
But it looks like you got to train them. I mean, they had Bryce Young. You think they train the next?
It's not just training. These guys, not every quarterback can do everything. So they have one quarterback who is good at all their zone read option stuff. He's a good runner. He's a smart runner. He knows when to run and where to run. They have another guy who can throw with touch and anticipation. They don't have one guy who can do both. When they had Bryce Young, they had somebody who could do both. When they had Tua, they had somebody who could do both. When they had Jalen, they had somebody who could do both. In fact, they had obviously Tua and Jalen who could both do both at a high level at the same time, battling it out for the spot. Now they have 0 who can do both. But back to pro football. The good news is that the Chiefs will look shockingly like themselves again before you know it. They were, first of all, they had, 2 tip ball interceptions, one of which are their way into what would have been a score. So there was a pick six that should have been at least a field goal, if not a touchdown for the Chiefs. And Marvin Jones also was horrible for the Detroit Lions. So it wasn't like they had everything go perfectly for themselves, but they had other outside of Marvin Jones, all of their players in high leverage situations performed at least well, and some of them exceptionally. The difference is that nobody came through in terms of the pass catching, and the guys that they should have thrown the ball to more, quite frankly, in my mind, were Pacheco and Jalen Watson. I mean, not Jalen Watson, Justin Watson. There is a Jalen Watson on their team. It's very confusing. He's a defensive back. They have two guys with very similar names, but the receiver, the big, fast, white receiver from Penn, should have been used more extensively. And even though he's not a real tight end, you can line him up and use him as sort of a move tight end in certain situations, especially as a detached tight end, because detached tight ends are basically possession receivers anyway. But he's not a possession receiver, and that's the thing that I think was throwing.
Folks, I don't know why this is not a special effect. Look at that. I don't know why that's.
That is a special effect.
Wait,
I think that's what was throwing the Lions off. Is they looked at this 222-pound, 6'2" and 7/8" white guy and didn't think speed, because he's not a possession receiver. He is a guy who runs sub 4.4. He's a 4.39 guy with that size. And people, you think white guy from Penn, right? Ivy League guy. You're not thinking he's going to run past you, but he can. I saw him up close and personal at the Shrine Bowl practices a few years back, and he was one of the most impressive players there. Justin Jackson was impressive. And then on defense, they had a couple of guys I really like. Puna Ford looked good. But back to what we're talking about today. So the Chiefs will right the ship very quickly. They're going to work on some of the things, rep some of the things, and some of those guys just won't be that bad again. I mean, literally, nerves matter. People forget to factor in nerves. They had a bunch of rookies out there and second-year guys. I mean, the only veteran who saw significant time amongst the receiver group, real veteran, like, more than a couple of years in the league, was Kadarius Toney, and he was also terrible. But he's never been able to track the ball well. Like I talked about that when we talked before, that his weakness has always been ball tracking. That was true in high school. It was true in college. And of course, it's true in the NFL. So if you're not great at tracking the ball, you can still work on it, but it's unlikely he'll ever be terribly good at it. He needs to see the ball come out of the quarterback's hand. He's not good at tracking the ball, finding it in the air, like a guy that played a lot of, say, outfield, right? Those guys that played like Arthur Brown Jr., right? Guys that grew up playing baseball know how to run towards a spot and then locate the ball and then track it. He's not well. He apparently didn't grow up playing baseball, or if he did, he didn't play in the outfield.
Hey, okay. So moving along, we've got Sunday, September 10th. We have the Panthers visiting the Falcons. I'd love to go to that game if I could. I'll take the Panthers in an upset. Yeah, that's right. I will take the Panthers in an upset.
I don't think that's an upset, but yes. But yes.
I'd love to.
Good call, though.
Me too. Bill?
I'll take the Falcons in an upset.
Yeah. Well, you were right. I mean, it wasn't an upset, but the Panthers did win.
I'm here to break up.
What's going on in the game?
I actually think the Panthers are slightly favored, but I'll double check.
Let me check right now. I got my
I'm going to check also.
my phone here. The Falcons were, because it was home field.
Oh no! Wait! No,
it was a home game for the Falcons.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons were favored, right?
Falcons minus 3.5.
Oh, okay.
So 3.5. Yeah.
Okay, Falcons.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So the Falcons. Yeah, Falcons won.
Yeah.
And I think they covered. They won and they covered. Yeah,
I have Falcons winning, so rise up 1-0. Okay, 1-0 for the Falcons. Okay, tie broken. Falcons win that one, I guess. Next game.
Okay, let me stop it right.
Oh yeah, they definitely covered. Yeah, they covered with some room to spare.
Yeah, because they
Texans.
Hold on a second. Yeah, but they did 24-10.
Yeah, they covered with room to spare.
But tell me why is it that Falcons fans are upset even though they won? On the radio on 92.9 The Game, there was this constant refrain of, well, okay, yeah, they won, but I mean, even with this margin, it was like, but, and it was so bad that the radio host was saying, well, wait a minute, we're supposed to be fans. Let's give them credit for winning. It was, what's up with, why can't the I mean, look at the box score, the team stats. All right, you've
Right.
got Ritter. He was the quarterback was 15 of 18, which are great numbers.
Very efficient.
115 yards. That's all for one touchdown. And you've got
quietly efficient. Yeah.
right. Tyler Algie was 15 carries for 75 yards
and a touchdown.
Kyle Pitts was 2 for 44. Okay, so overall, I mean, if you take a look at it from a team stat perspective, they were
football's here, you know what that means. More flame grilled beef from Burger King. Celebrate with us, cheer on your team. Y'all know this part. Come on, let's sing.
What the heck is that?
Not sure. You
was
must not have autoplay blocked.
Yeah, it's because I'm on the ESPN site, which is the problem.
Yeah, but you can block autoplay if you go into the settings.
Okay,
I always block autoplay.
Well, I won't mess with it. Basically, in team stats, I think I'm going to try another site because I don't have to show it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll try NFL.com.
But what they're whining about, and I think whining is the accurate way to describe it, is they didn't see as many explosive plays on offense as they wanted to see.
Yeah.
They were just the better team.
Oh, no. Come on, stop the ads. Talk on it. All right. All I want is scoring. Where is this? All right. Give me maybe Yahoo Sports. Let me try that.
Yeah, you need to block autoplay.
Yeah, or maybe I wind up installing my own, feed. This is something I can work with. Okay, I found. Okay, yeah. All right, so Atlanta and Carolina, we have team comparison. Panthers had 20 first downs. Falcons had 13. Now I see it right there. I can stop right there. I get it.
Right.
I get it. I mean, that's the Panthers outplayed them offensively, and people, they say that and they think, hey, you know what? They outplayed us, right?
Sort of, but they also had a lot of negative plays that the Falcons didn't have. So that's the thing that's only showing you the positive plays. Like if you now subtract out the yardage lost due to tackles for loss, due to sacks, due to turnovers, things like that, now it looks different. The Falcons are, and I think I might have said this. I think I said one of the most improved defenses in the entire National Football League will belong to the Atlanta Falcons. I said it, I believe last time we spoke.
Yeah,
and I stand by that. They are greatly improved on defense, and they're going to win a lot of close games. This game wasn't that close, but they don't because of that defense. Desmond Ridder is a athletic game manager, and that's all he needs to be in this current version of the team. They have dynamic running attack, and he's a part of it. As I said before, he's a terrific athlete himself. And as he grows as a passer, there'll be games where they'll need him to throw the ball more, and I believe he'll step up and do it. Now, he'll never be an elite level passer, but could he get? We just talked about Daniel Jones. Could he end up being a Daniel Jones type, maybe even slightly better? I say yes. I think he could get to the Daniel Jones level.
Interesting. So, okay, so moving along, we have going back to our nifty recap video. We came up on what's next? Houston and Baltimore.
Oh, what say you, Vinny? Baltimore. I think the Ravens are a playoff team, but I do think the Texans will be better this year. I really do like D'Amico Ryans, and I can't wait to see CJ Stroud in his first game. I'm very excited for that. Well, you, Bill?
I think the Ravens by double digits. I think that it's
right.
it's close early on, but eventually the difference between experience and talent.
There we go, Bill. There we go. That's how you analyze. Nailed that one, Bill. Good job.
Maybe a tip ball interception that's returned for a touchdown. They'll pull away towards the end and win by somewhere between like 10 and 17 points.
It's exactly how the game played out. Well done, Bill.
There you go.
Texans or Ravens?
I paused for too long.
Offense of Baltimore Ravens. The Texans offensive coordinator there he's got more design jukes in his play
Oh, that's
than. In fact, there's only one other person I've seen with more jukes design in their plays, and that's me. So I'm really high on to see how it works in actual practice. I was really studying the preseason.
That's true.
And I love the way the Texans are designed. Now, a lot of those plays are ran with Davis Mills, but I want to see them do it with CJ Stroud, and I believe they will.
Well, I didn't turn out so well. Hold on a second.
Then package, we're out of the I formation back. He dropped short. And it's out of a run action as opposed to the running backs going out for the pass, but it's out of run action. And it implies that there's a run option, but it's not. It's a fooler. It's really cool. They've done it a few times this preseason. They did it the first game out. It was very effective when they brought Davis Mills in to run it. They didn't run it with CJ Stroud, though, okay? So I'm really high on the Texans, and so it wouldn't surprise me if, first of all, they finish close, and even they come away with an upset.
Jeez,
okay?
I was wrong.
I'll just put that out there.
Jeez, I was just wrong. I was wrong because the actual score.
Next, I think it's Bill.
I mean, because the actual score didn't turn out to be that. Let me
game?
rephrase this. Because the actual score turned out to be the Texans getting losing, and they lost. Wow, they only scored 9 points.
Yeah, they're a year away, as I had said before.
Yeah,
a year away.
Yeah, they were horrible.
But they don't have the talent yet, Zenny. That's it's just that the coaching is good, but they don't have the talent yet.
But to me, this is how I look at it, Bill. Your coaching isn't that good if you can't take talent and make it and put it in the place where it looks good. Some call it doing it with mirrors. I call it doing it with scheme, right? Think of the 1981 San Francisco 49ers. No one saw them coming. Remember that?
Well, okay. So even with that, they had good players. Keena Turner, people don't talk about him, but he was one of the best coverage linebackers in the league. 219 pounds, undersized. People thought he was too small. That's why he was an undrafted free agent coming out of, I think, Michigan State. Don't quote me. But the reason that nobody liked him was his how slender he was. He was fantastic in coverage. Mm-hmm. Pierce Holt was from Angelo State and was 26 years old, I think, his rookie year. Yeah. Had spent time working as a union carpenter. So, first of all, Angelo State, I mean, not a place that a lot of people. No. Humboldt State. Humboldt State. Yeah. But people don't spend a lot of time scouting Humboldt State, though there's some good players that come from Humboldt State in the history of the program, but especially not a 26-year-old carpenter. So, though they might not have been big names, they had a lot of better players. Dwayne Board was good. Fred Dean, right? Hall of Fame level player.
But even with that, though, no one saw them coming until they beat Dallas mid-season. They beat Dallas at Candlestick Park, and that was punctuated by a 75-yard catch and run by the late Dwight Clark.
The late, great Dwight Clark.
Caught a simple sideline pass against Everson Walls. Mm-hmm. Everson relaxed. Dwight turned around and ran towards center field for a touchdown. Just kept running. He's still running. But get this, Bill. They were even in first for all that. They were even in first downs. Texans 18, Ravens 18. Okay. Net yards. The Texans actually had 196 net yards passing versus the Ravens 155. They were 28-44 from 196 were the Texans. Right. The Ravens were 17-22 from 155, which is unthinkable. The Ravens had a net yards per pass of 6, the Texans 4, which makes you want to look at the defense, right? But the bottom line is, and so you have to think, okay, somewhere in here are turnovers, and there are.
There are, yes.
2 fumbles by the Ravens, though only 1 by the Texans. But the Texans lost a fumble, Oh, I'm scary. The Ravens lost 2 fumbles, but they lost 1. The Texans had a fumble, but they lost it.
Yep.
And then in terms of interceptions, this doesn't really break down interceptions like you'd like. It has fumbles, but it doesn't have interceptions. It's very weird in terms of how Yahoo Sports is breaking this down. At any rate, it's not. Yeah, they don't even have like if they have interceptions, they would have like 20 or 44. Maybe there are none. Okay, so maybe there are no interceptions for either team. Oh no, I take it back.
There are.
The Ravens threw an interception. The Texans did not. So
Right.
the Texans, but you have it right here, 28 of 44 versus 17 of 22. So the Ravens were wildly more efficient in their passing game. The Texans were quite literally throwing it all over the place and not doing anything. So there you go. That's the difference right there.
Yeah, and the Ravens are still one of the dominant teams in terms of running the football, and the Texans are not. They have guys who can run it. I mean, I like Dameon Pierce a great deal, and they've addressed the running back position multiple times, but there's and 20 yards rushing for CJ Stroud, which helped, but you could see that they had some issues as the game wore on. They lost Titus Howard. They lost Juice Scruggs. And not just, for the rest of the game, but both those guys are on injured reserve. Kenyon Green did have a shoulder injury during the preseason. So they've got some thinness on that offensive line. So George Fant ended up being replaced during the game by Michael Dieter, who allowed David Ojabo to strip sack David Stroud, that interception you talked about. So they've got some depth issues. They're a team that just doesn't have great depth of talent. They're a year away from being They're a year away from being like a real, a team that's in contention in their division, and then probably 2 years away from being anything more than that. They need to keep adding through both the draft and free agency. But the good news is CJ Stroud looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, and he looked like they're beginning to develop a little bit of that simpatico you want to see between your number 1 wide receiver and your quarterback. And they mixed it in with some of the other guys. Robert Woods, the glue guy, the veteran, made some good plays for them. You can see that someday Tank Dell is going to be a real weapon for them, and Noah Brown's going to be that sort of big-bodied possession guy until they upgrade that position.
That game
Let's see what we've got for the next game.
will be close, and Cleveland is better this year than they are next year. I still think Cincinnati pulls it out.
That was the big swing and a miss for me. That was the big swing and a miss for me. Yeah.
Isn't Burrow going to be like injured for this game? Is he going to play for this game, or is he getting? Because if Burrow, he's playing. Even then, I had the Browns winning this game.
Vinny,
good job, Vinnny. Yep.
Yeah,
he's right.
I agree. I'll take the Browns. Next, we've got
that was easy.
Home game. Jacksonville visiting.
Yeah. So before we get to Jacksonville, so what do you think about the Browns?
Their defense looked fantastic. That was the most impressive defensive performance, and a lot of defenses looked good. I mean, Dallas's defense is playing right now, and they look amazing. We talked at 49ers defense looked incredible as well. And what was the other one that really impressed me? And the Ravens defense looked really good. But the most impressive defense I saw today was that Browns defense. They made plays at every level of their defense. Their defensive line is maybe the best. It's no worse than maybe second or third, but it's one of the top defensive lines.
Hey, the defensive ends aren't bad, are they?
Well, their defensive everything's. I mean, their tackles are good too. Like it's not, everything on that defensive front is very good. They are good across the front. And like I said, to me, they're right there with the 49ers. They're right there with the Cowboys. Whoever you want to mention, they're right there with them. If they're not the best, they're in the top 3. Then you get the linebackers. And that was my only real concern with their linebacking group. Their linebacking group actually held up. If their linebackers play that well every week, they're going to win more games than I said. So I thought they were I said they were a 7-8 win team. You can slap 2 more wins at least on that. So you're talking about more like a 9, maybe even 10 win team if those linebackers hold up like that.
Now we come to the next game.
Indy in a huge game, another huge game. All right. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to stick with this one because I
forgot I did that.
wanting to see what Indy does defensively, because you're going to have a guy like Anthony Richardson. Your defense has to be strong enough to carry them through. Although I'm excited, I wish I were designing the schemes for Richardson. I think if it were me, I'd pick Indy if I were running it.
Yeah, that is the most Zenny answer ever.
I don't trust the guy that they have doing it just yet. So we'll see how he handles Anthony. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they didn't keep Jonathan Taylor. So there you go, Jacksonville. Next,
I mean, Jonathan Taylor's still on the roster. He's just on the
is that either
pup list,
right?
Yeah, Bill, you go.
Oh, well, I mean, they still have Jonathan Taylor. He's just on the unable to perform list because he hasn't reported. But he's going to end up having to report at some point. It'll probably be several games into the season. Jacksonville is the more prepared team to win at this point. I think the Colts will make it very challenging because they have some interesting wrinkles in their offense. They have some talent on defense. Shaquille Leonard, who was hurt much of last year, is back and 100%.
Yep.
I like a lot of the individual pieces that they have. And Richardson, just because of his physical ability, is going to make some plays, but it won't be enough. So, yeah, Jacksonville, probably by about, I'll say, 31-23.
31?
30, yeah, I think Jacksonville scores 31 points. Yeah, 31-23.
Wait, yeah, but how much did Indy score?
I
already said.
2023.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Let's
Now,
see.
for me,
So basically,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vinney.
Yeah.
okay, now I have Weird how Jaguars.
Well, you know what,
Colts
though?
is a
That
Fox
wasn't-
game
that
and
wasn't-
Buccaneers,
he wasn't
Vikings
far
is a
off.
CBS game. But regardless, even though that seems kind of weird.
because
I
I was very close. I was off by 2 points.
Colts
Yeah, I was off by 2 points. I've been doing this football thing for a while, Zeddy.
And I still did.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
31.
by 2 points. I was off by 2 points. I said 31-23. They were
Yeah.
31-21.
Yeah. Now nice job, Bill.
I've been doing this football thing for a while. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We'll keep talking, and then we'll keep going through this.
And the Jaguars are by far the better team by far. It's going to be the Jaguars.
All right. Tampa Bay visiting Minnesota.
Aha!
I'll take it. I think Bucks are going to walk in and beat the Vikings.
Yeah!
Way to go. There you go. That's it. Good job.
You, Bill?
Yeah!
I think it is a real close game. I think the fact that it's at Minnesota helps, but you're going to see all the flaws we talked about. I think Minnesota narrowly escapes due to probably something like a strip sack that they cash in for a late
You're right
field
about
goal,
that,
and
Bill.
They end up winning by about
They
2
almost
points.
narrowly escaped.
So I don't know. How
Yeah,
serious
well,
that is.
But the fact that Tampa Bay,
So
and first of all, shout out to Baker Mayfield. The people who tried to, put him 6 feet under, but he didn't do a lot, but he did what he needed to when he needed to do it,
Right.
including some big plays he did with his feet. I
He's
just
not
think
a bad
that
quarterback. He just
no,
gets
he's not.
bad coaches. That's all.
Well, it's also his own ego gets in the way sometimes too.
I like ego. So.
Oh, I get that, but he's a really smart player who occasionally his ego says to him, Baker, I think you can make that throw. It's
Right.
okay, it's not part of the progression. It's not part of the progression. That guy's running a clear out, but I think we can hit him. And here's the problem with that. If you put a supercharger on a Volkswagen, Beetle, it's still a Volkswagen Beetle. I know you don't like the physical part of the game, you just like the analytical part of the game, but the problem with him is he doesn't have as much physical talent as he thinks he has. And so almost every mistake he's made is because he can't throw a ball as hard as he thinks he can. He can't run as fast as he thinks he can. When he plays within the structure of the offense, he's extremely effective. It's when he starts getting that Brett Favre thing, you're not Brett Favre, buddy. Don't try to play like Brett Favre. If he stays away, if he plays like Chad Pennington, they're going to win not a bunch. I shouldn't say a bunch, but they'll win more games than people think if he plays like Chad Pennington. It's when he starts playing like Brett Favre that they get into trouble. But he's a smart guy. He sees things quickly. He's got good accuracy. The issue always comes when he tries to make the big play, the play that really isn't there.
Yep. Let's continue.
I see the Vikings winning by like one score. Like I think the defense is gonna be really bad, and you're gonna see that
Vinnny wasn't
throughout the game.
off really.
Well, we knew that game would be close, especially because the Vikings are coming apart.
Visiting the Saints. Who wants to go?
Tennessee. Okay, here's this is the big one for me.
First,
I'll go first in this one. Man, this is going to be a really interesting game. I have the Saints winning this one at home. I think the Saints, like I said, they're the best team in the NFC South, in my opinion. I think they'll beat this game, this interconference matchup.
I think we're waiting on Bill next, or me.
So I'm going to take Tennessee for the upset.
I was wrong.
Mainly because
I forgot I said that.
Vrabel's coach.
Oh, I remembered you said that because we all reacted to it when you said
they know they've had Derek Carr's number for a while, and they know his tendency, even with a switch. So,
but you know what?
Something in that game
almost happened.
Feels like,
but Tannehill had 3 interceptions. The better quarterback was clearly Derek Carr.
Ryan was telegraphing it. The dude's been in the league 11 years, and you think he would have learned not to telegraph his passes. You would think that he would have coaches that would say, "Hey, look, like I'm trying to think of the guy that coached Ken Anderson back in the day, and then Boomer Esiason and
okay, so that wasn't the same guy. The quarterback's coach when Anderson first comes. I mean, obviously Paul Brown is the head coach, and the offensive coordinator, of course, is Bill Walsh. But the quarterback's coach was a man named Homer Rice.
No, I wasn't thinking about him. I was actually thinking about the guy that was coaching.
You're thinking about Sam White, but Sam White's is later.
Right, later.
But at that time, Paul Brown and Bill Walsh are gone by that.
It's like Zeke Barkowski, Zeke something or other, Zeke something.
Zeke Bratkowski. You're close.
Something like that.
His nickname was Brat. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Because I remember the reason why I say that so demonstratively. I remember a film where he was actually working with Carson Palmer. I'm sorry. He was working with Carson Palmer on how to not telegraph your throws, right? Because they're talking about how fast the DBs were. And this was the offensive coordinator for them when Marvin Lewis was the head coach. I mean, for a time it was Hugh Jackson, but then there was somebody else. Right? Right, Bill?
Sorry, say it again.
I said Marvin Lewis when Carson Palmer was the Bengals quarterback.
Yep. Right. Marvin's head coach. Yeah.
I saw this tape where the offensive coordinator was and they were going through a drill where they were practicing Palmer throwing, but not looking to where he was going to throw until the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember who the offensive coordinator was. Let me look that up real quick.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about this would have been like 96, 97.
Yeah. And I'm thinking Carson Palmer, Bengals offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so the coordinator by that time would have been Ken Anderson, Jim Anderson were the
Bratkowski.
Yeah, I said that.
Brian, okay.
Yeah. Brat was his nickname. Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy. So Bob Bratkowski.
Yeah, Bob, not Zeke. But I think they're related, but yeah.
Right. But
Zeke did coach too, but he coached with the Bears, he coached with the Bengals, and he coached with somebody else.
But I'm also thinking about the quarterback coach too. Let me see who that was.
Yeah, well, Ken Anderson was the offensive coordinator though in '97.
He had, let's see here. Right, Marvin Lewis.
Yep, Dick LeBeau was the defensive coordinator. Ken Anderson was the offensive coordinator.
Right. I'm wondering who the quarterback coach was. That's not coming up. Carson Palmer, Bengals quarterback coach. That's the other name I'm looking for.
Oh wait, okay, you're talking about like 2003, probably.
Yeah. Okay. and Ken Zampese.
Peasy. Yep.
Ken Zampese. That's the tape I saw. It was a long time ago. It was Ken Zampese.
Yep. Who was a really good coach also.
Yeah, that's the guy who was teaching him to not telegraph his passes. And that's the kind of coach that the Titans need for Tannehill. I mean, it was awful, man. That was painful to watch. Oh my God.
But you do understand people have been trying to do this with him since Sherman had him. Remember who his college coach was?
Oh, I forgot.
He had he had Sherman. He had Sherman in college. So people have been trying to tell him this. That's why he lost the job, right? He got moved away from quarterback for a season because he was struggling so much with that. And I think his Juwan Johnson, I can't remember what the kid's name was that took over for him, and he punted and played wide receiver for a season, then won this. Then in the next spring ball the next year, he won back the quarterback job. But
if he's not careful, he's going to wind up giving away to Malik Willis. You know, I
for a little while, yeah.
I hesitate to say Will Levis, but you never know.
Well, I mean, they'll try all three if it comes down to it. But they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean that was bad. Okay, moving along.
All right, Bill.
Saints in a nail biter. I think
Mr. Carroll.
Yeah,
and I
think it's actually a
Bill.
defense.
Oh yeah, it was a nail biter in the Saints.
Nail biter.
Yeah.
Watch out for a defensive score late in the game to salt the victory away for the Saints.
Okay. It was a great game. It was a fun game.
Yep. Now we come to the Niners visiting the Steelers. Oh my goodness. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Bill.
Since it's that, I already answered.
Niners Steelers.
But since it's that, answering. Since it's at Pittsburgh, I'm going to, I think it's Acrisure or whatever stadium now, whatever they call it. But yeah, I think the Steelers pull out a very narrow victory. I think that
was one of my big misses also, yes.
A broken play,
big miss.
Like a play that outside the pocket. I think that, Pickett sort of scrambles around and makes a late sort of desperation heave to Freiermuth, who scores late touchdown to salt the victory.
Yeah.
And then for me, I see the Steelers in a nail biter. I see the Steelers winning this one at home in Acrisure.
We blew it.
Oh yeah,
with Vinnny. I agree. All right, so we've got Arizona.
That was too easy.
You're welcome. Arizona and Washington.
I gotta mold this over for a sec. How the heck did we blow that one, man?
Well, see, I usually just go with who has the better roster, and I went away from my coaching matters. Don't get me wrong, but generally talent wins. Jimmy's and Joe's win out over X's and O's more often than not. And the better roster is the 49ers. I just went away from my own process, and I just remind myself not to do that.
I think I honestly didn't believe. I'll tell you why I did it, because I believe that there was a book on what the 49ers did with Brock Purdy. I thought the Steelers would have the right defense to be prepared to stop them. And the Steelers were obviously not prepared for the 49ers running game. Passing game is one thing, but they were not prepared for the 49er running game. And as I go back and look at the stats from that contest, as I'm doing right now,
they also didn't manage to cover Brandon Ayuk, who went nuts on him also.
And there's that. And right. So you had San Francisco 30, Pittsburgh 7 was like a cartoon score. But you go to the team comparison area. Net yards passing, Niners 203, Steelers 198. Steelers threw the ball 46 times, Niners 29.
Yep.
But net yards per pass, get this. Niners 6.3, Steelers 3.9.
Yep.
Times sacked. Steelers are sacked 5 times, Niners 3. Yep. There's a nod to the Niners defense. Interceptions thrown. Steelers throw 2, the Niners none. Punts.
And that's the big thing,
Yeah. Punts. They punted 6 times, the Niners 3. Fumbled. They have no fumbles. The Niners had 3. And then interceptions thrown, they threw 2 picks. All right.
Yep.
So time of possession, 22 minutes and 37 seconds for the Steelers, 37 minutes and 23 seconds for the Niners. And then if you look at net yards rushing, oh my Lord.
That's the game. Right
188 for the Niners, a paltry 41 yards. That's
Yep.
a 1970s cartoon score
Yep.
for the Steelers. That's the kind of rushing yard net that the Steelers defense would only allow, during its heyday, right?
Yeah, the Steelers are a running team, and when they don't get their run game established, they don't win.
No. So let's move along and find out, since after that mess of a game, what we said next. We clearly muffed that one. Okay.
I will take. Boy, I take the Commanders. I believe that.
I got it.
Yep.
The Commanders have an outstanding.
I thought I'd taken the Cards. I forgot.
Coordinator.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't take the Cards. You may not want to take the Cards ever.
His tail off, and that couldn't wind up being a blowout.
Oh, that came out of my mouth.
Could.
Yes.
But
there you go. Good job.
If it doesn't, you will only be.
Bill, I was having an out-of-body experience.
The Command defense isn't as good as I thought they would be, which would mean that the Cardinals' offense was every bit as well schemed as I said it was going to be, right?
Mm-hmm. It was not.
I'm going to pick this game as even.
Oh,
somebody shut.
Oh no, you were doing so well.
I have to pick a winner, don't I?
Unless you're picking a tie, you can predict a tie.
Yeah, well, let me put it this way: it's less likely that'll happen than if I say the Commanders will win by 3 or something like that, right? So I'll just take that. But I was surprised if I wouldn't be upset came out of that. There's something about that just bugged me, man.
They were ahead for most of the game, though, Bill. Bill, they were ahead for most of the game.
I know. When I saw preseason, I
they
really
were ahead
liked
for
what I
most of
saw.
the game.
I love the fact that they have a precision offense yet again. And I did not like the offense. I love the air raid. You guys know I love the air raid. But I didn't like
Cliff Kingsbury.
You see, it's 40-0, man.
I didn't like the way it executed last year. I don't like Mr.
Cliff Kingsbury.
I don't like that head coach. Stop right there, because I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to dissect, explain that all over again. I'm just coaching, because to me, got a lot of jobs because he was,
What, Zenny? What?
When
I froze. I literally froze.
Yeah, a couple times you did.
Yeah. That wasn't
do I really have to watch his lack of attention to detail again and again and again and again and again? I was really tired of it. Just tired. And then when I had the opportunity to talk and interview him, it's not like he doesn't give you a lot of substance. And maybe it's how I hit him or whatever, but I wanted to know if he was going to use or why he wasn't using the standard vertical set blocking in his scheme. He said no, he was using another one, but he didn't explain.
Cliff Kingsbury is what I was criticizing.
He didn't get into it. And the way he answered it, it left me with, okay, you think you've got this, rather than having a Wetland junk for what you're doing. In other words, okay, what is it, right? And yet, I was a fan of the air raid that he ran.
Get in and get out.
I believe that the air raid is best ran mixed with the Bill Walsh offense. You all know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
An attention.
I know what you mean.
Footsteps, drop back instead of yards, precision, and then the formations, and then the spacing. And Kevin didn't do that, and it was bugging me. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So now for my prediction, I see the Commanders winning this at home.
Vinny got it easy.
Yep. Same with you, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I think Arizona may be the worst team in the whole league. So yes, especially at home, Washington wins
That's funny to me. I'm sorry.
By at least 10.
I mean, I said what I said. I stand by it. They're playing hard. You can tell their coaching staff's doing good work, but they do not have the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're Green Bay at Chicago.
Oh
That's gonna be
no.
Yeah, now we're talking, man.
Oh no.
At Soldiers Field. Here we go. Here we go.
That's how I know you're not from here. When you put the S at the end, it's just Soldier.
Bears. Yes.
Singular.
Even though I picked the Green Bay to win, I'm picking the Bears to win. And because remember, I said it's going to be close, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking the Bears.
Man.
What you, Bill?
Somebody shoot me. I don't believe that. I did that.
I think it's.
But I did. I believed it. I believed it. I believed it.
I'm going back and forth, but I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out a little bit and say in a very close game, like 3 or fewer points. I think Green Bay still owns them, right? I still own them.
They still own them.
You were right about that.
I don't know if he'll
They
do
still own them.
They still own them. Yep.
If
They
he
still
does,
own them.
a lot of victory,
But
I think they get a narrow win.
no.
Not narrow, but they won. They won going away. That's the better team.
I'm picking the Bears here on an upset.
Aha. Hey, I got some company.
Yes.
Yeah. The Bears.
Yep.
The Bears.
Got to do that whole Chris Farley.
The Bears.
Chest thump.
Now we come to yeah. Hey, have you seen Blazing? Oh gosh, what is wrong with my head?
We just talked about Blazing Saddles.
I'm Blazing Saddles. Somebody went up Blazing Saddles.
Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
No, the Blues Brothers. You've seen the what? He just came on last.
I still can't get over that, Bill.
Man.
Vinny has never seen Blazing Saddles or Blues Brothers.
Oh my Lord.
He's a millennial, right? Hey, Bill. He's a millennial.
He hasn't seen.
Yes,
he hasn't seen Bushy and Aykroyd at their finest.
He has not.
No, I'm still young. Keep that in mind.
He at least is aware of his youth. All right.
So the game we're on to is the Las Vegas Denver.
Las Vegas Denver. Yeah. Let's hear that one. All right. That was that turned to be a close game.
Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bears Broncos. Yeah.
Oh, before I go on, I gotta say one thing about Bears. The Bears sucked. They 188 yards total offense. I thought they're gonna double that. They made Jordan Love look like all pro, which he is all pro, but come on.
He's a good player.
They basically made Jordan Love the obvious heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about that, man? I'm having a hard time processing that.
Well,
I'm not. I'm just saying that for comic relief.
Yeah. No, I said that Aaron Love. Whoops. Freudian slip. I said Jordan Love's going to be good. I don't know about Hall of Fame, but I say he's going to be good. I mean, I watched the kid at Utah State, and he had some rough edges, but they've worked on and polished him a lot. He's sped up his processing. His mechanics are tighter. He's placing the ball well. He's seeing the field clearly. And they didn't do as good a job as the Bears didn't do as job as I thought they would of changing the picture on it. They junked up coverages a little bit, but they played it straight a lot.
Yeah.
So he's too smart for that. You have to do more than they did to try to throw him off. But he's a good player. I've said this. I've been telling people he's going to be good.
The Bears had just 4.6 yards per pass versus 8.5 for Green Bay, which points out to me that Green Bay is playing classic Bill Walsh offense, and the Bears are playing all of that, sideline. I'm gonna throw to the wide receiver, which during the preseason it worked with DJ Moore for like 63 yards and a touchdown, right? But this game, no, you're getting hammered, man. That was not funny. And I'm laughing. So anyway, moving along in our discussion, we had boy, what a knocking on the head I took with that one. I'm embarrassed. All right.
Playing a Mount Live, but mostly that's because Denver is going to be, I think, improved over last year. I think Denver gets that victory.
Uh-oh.
I think you picked the Raiders, so that's a good one for you.
Yeah.
I'd say give me Denver in a close one. Give me Denver.
I'll go with what Vinny said. I agree.
I picked Denver.
Now we come to Miami.
Yeah. Okay. We all did.
LA at the beautiful SoFi Stadium. And
yeah, I'm not even gonna discuss that one. That was.
What say you, Vinny?
I have actually the Dolphins in this one.
That may be later. This was a good game. Did you see this?
I have the Miami Dolphins in this game, winning against the Chargers, where it's going to be a
great game.
In orange.
Maybe the best game of the day.
Yeah,
really one of them.
Come on, there's a joke there.
Bill?
Well, though I do very much believe in the Miami Dolphins, I think they get off 0-1.
Oh, man.
I think the Chargers want to sort of show they're not the same old Chargers from last year. But more importantly, I think that they're able to establish their rookie. Rick Johnson gives them that one thing they didn't have. They had a big-bodied receiver, Mike Williams, and they had the often injured but effective when he could get on the field, slot receiver and possession receiver in Keenan Allen. What Quentin Johnston gives them with his height, weight, and speed combination is somebody who can threaten them deep, which they hadn't had to account for before. I think that this young man, Quentin Johnston, only ends up with about 69 yards in receiving, but 2 touchdowns. And I think he's the difference in the game. So give me the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, so Will Lutz missed an extra point, and then that onside kick attempt that set up an easy score.
Miami blows out the Chargers.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna say blows out.
Miami blows out the Chargers.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm saying blows out. Wow. Well, no, nobody got blown out.
Kills.
Mm-hmm. Now, Super Bowl 50,
that'll be the name of this contest. Speed kills.
Now, Super Bowl 39 and 52 rematch here. Eagles, Patriots.
Oh, we already.
That's the next game.
Yeah.
The rematch of 2 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm. Say it.
Oh, I have the Eagles winning this one on the road.
Yep, I think we all have.
It's going to be close, but I think the Eagles' defense is going to overpower.
What say you, Bill?
Yeah. If they played this game on the moon, if they played this game, in Latvia, it wouldn't matter to me. Give me the Eagles. I think
Alpha Centauri.
Yes, Alpha Centauri. Give me the Eagles. 0 gravity, double gravity, whatever it is. The Eagles have so much depth, and they can attack you so many different ways. I just feel like New England will be very game and put up a heck of a fight, but they'll just get overwhelmed.
What you Zenny?
All right, so now we come to Eagles easily blowout.
Not quite right.
It's not
Rams. I totally blew.
They will have to quickly,
wow,
dust off the Bill Belichick is tapes, right? So because that's the only way they'll come away with a victory, aside from the fact that they're at home, right? But still, it doesn't spell a close game. It spells blowout. But I'm happy to be wrong, For no other reason than I like to think that intellect matters, even when. Although you have to say that the Eagles coaches staff are really smart too. So, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Philly bills out Patriots. Next, LA visits Seattle. Rams lose to the Seahawks. Next.
Wait, I see a blowout.
Both of you.
I see a blowout here too. I think the Seahawks are by far the better team than the Rams. I think Stafford's going to show some clear signs of regression, and with Cooper Cup, we don't even know he's going to play. So,
jeez, what a boneheader!
I have the Seahawks winning this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Cooper Cup misses at least 2 games, more likely 3 games. But even if you were playing, I have Seattle winning. This would be closer. without him, it's probably about a 10-point victory for Seattle.
Wow, we both.
And we have this Sunday night game, Dallas against the New York Giants. What do you say, Vinney?
No, hey, get this. Hold on a second.
Feels like this matchup always happens on week one or like around week.
Let me stop it right there. This is how badly off we were, Bill.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many net yards passing the Seahawks had?
Well, I know it was probably in the 120s or something. Probably.
No, it was 95.
95. Wow.
95. Yeah. 95 net yards passing. The Rams had 334. The Rams were 24 of 38 for 344 yards, 8.8 yards per pass. The Seahawks were 16 of 26 for 95 yards, 3.4 yards per pass. They were sacked twice.
Yep.
They threw no interceptions. Neither team did. The Seahawks punted 4 times, and they were both the penalties were even. There were no fumbles. All right, so all you have to go by is just pure offensive production, and it was lousy, which you have to attribute to the Rams' defense.
Right.
Wow.
And let me give you 2 names to remember. Well, maybe even 3. So Kyron Williams, who had been with the team for a couple of years, but has always been sort of a complimentary back, showed up and had a big game. Pakua Nakua, the young BYU, as people thought was going to be like a special teams contributor, had a really big game. And Van Jefferson, even when Cooper Kupp returns, is going to be a big part of that offense. So I keep praising Les Snead, then criticizing Les Snead, then praising Les Snead. Well, I'm back to praising Les Snead. They got rid of a lot of early round draft picks. Now that's going to change. They're going to get those early draft picks back, but they have chosen really well in the middle and late rounds. They have gotten good player after good player late and like the middle part of the draft, including the players that I just mentioned who were either later round draft picks or in some cases undrafted free agents, and they've ended up showing up and contributing. They really do a great job of analyzing the middle and later rounds of the draft. A lot of their young players on defense are guys that came in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, 4th, and undrafted free agents as well.
Wow. So now we come to this game that we're watching here. Let's see this game is an obvious blowout. This is like, man.
Oh yeah, this is the ugliest game of them all so far.
And it was raining. The Lord was crying. That's what those rain was for. The Lord was crying. The Giants were so bad. The Lord was crying. This is what we said.
One.
Yeah, because it does.
Yeah, but this time it's in New York instead of Dallas, so it's a bit of a change of scenery, I guess.
Yeah.
Give me Dallas. I think they're the better team, better coach, better roster, better quarterback, just better team altogether than the Giants. So yeah, I have the Cowboys winning this one. No question.
Mr. Carroll, what say you?
Well, I'll give the actual coaching edge to the Giants, the talent edge, the everything else edge, and somebody mentioned speed. Dallas has better team speed at every position except probably running back, but they're just a better team. So I'm going to go with Dallas, even going on the road.
Now we come to the contest that demonstrates the NFL really knows what it's doing in terms of scheduling. Buffalo visiting the New York Jets.
Tomorrow night.
All right.
We don't know.
Who you got?
This is another tough one. I think this is an extremely close game. I think, it's a coin flip game, but I'm going to, even though they're going on the run, I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo comes out hot this year and then fades down the stretch. So I look for them to be like 7-1 at the halfway point and then end up sort of going, 500.
Keep this in mind for tomorrow, folks.
I think they get the win here.
We may come back.
I have. Give me the Jets in an upset. Give me the Jets to win. Aaron Rodgers' first game at home. We're in the 1980s New York Sack Exchange jerseys, which they will be wearing that day. I did check.
Ooh.
So Vinny's predicting an upset.
So that's good. And I think they're going to be giving out Klecko's Hall.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that because I think the Jets are going to be juiced up, man. They're gonna be coming up. They're gonna have Klecko coming out pregame festivities. It's Monday. It's Sunday night. Excuse me. It's Monday night football, and they've got Aaron Rodgers and an improved defense. And wow, they look solid in preseason from a standpoint of scheme and technique. So I think the Jets are going to make this a good game and come out winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no way with everything surrounding the Jets. This has to be a win for them. I don't think this is going to be like last year when the Broncos with Russell Wilson faced against the Seahawks. Granted, Nathaniel Hackett's on the Jets coaching staff, so maybe I could be wrong, but I think the Jets will win this.
Yeah, I don't think Nathaniel Hackett will be allowed to make the mistakes he made with the Broncos because he's coaching Aaron Rodgers, okay? And Aaron will remind him of the things that worked versus the things that didn't work. So I'm excited, boy. I'm excited. Hey, this is any parting thoughts, gentlemen? Because I know it's 12:23 in the morning. I mean, and Mr. Carroll's got to get his beauty sleep.
Me too. I would say my thoughts.
I'll leave that there. So, because we know that part. But overall, we weren't that bad, were we?
We got clotheslined a couple of times. We also had a couple of
ouch,
flawlessly executed. There was 2 or 3 that were flawlessly executed, right? I mean, there was a couple where I almost literally nailed the game script exactly, so that felt good. But yeah, I had a huge miss on the Bengals and Browns game. I had a significant misassessment of I obviously got the Lions and Chiefs, not way wrong, but a little wrong. And I got what was the other one I missed? 49ers. Yeah, that was a big miss. 49ers and Steelers, and then there was one other one, right? Or was it?
Yeah. We all missed on this game this game. I mean, not this game. I'm talking about.
No, we didn't.
You said Thursday night, right?
Well, the Thursday night game we missed. I already mentioned that one. I already said I missed. I obviously missed on that one. It was a close game as I predicted, but I didn't have the right team winning.
Well, I missed on the Saints thing. I thought the Saints were going to be upset. They weren't.
Yeah, no, I said that game was going to. That I almost completely nailed how that game was going to turn out. Yeah.
You did. Now we come to 7 on Sunday. This is from the NFL media, and I'll enlarge this and we'll work on closing out. Zoom in and zoom in. This is a zoom in. This is from the NFL. This is from NFLcommunications.com, folks. A look at 7 statistical highlights from games played during the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock windows on this Sunday. And it goes with 2 games remaining in week 1. 7 games have been decided by 1 score or less, 8 points, and 10 games have been within 1 score, 8 points in the fourth quarter. 5 teams: Detroit, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, Miami, and Washington earned wins in week 1 after trailing in the fourth quarter. 8 teams who missed the postseason in 2022 won on kickoff weekend, while 9 teams secured victories on the road. Only 1983, 12, and 2006, 11 have featured 10 or more teams winning on the road in week 1. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa passed for 466
yards. Yep.
Oh my Lord, and 3 touchdowns. I have to say, wait a minute. While Tyreek Hill had 11 for 252 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Dolphins' 36-44 win at the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, let's stop right there for a second. What does
that was one I missed? Yeah, that's the other one I missed. There it is.
What does that say about Mike McDaniels?
I mean, the same thing that everyone's always said about Mike McDaniels. He is one of the brightest young coaches and maybe currently the most interesting interview of all the coaches in the NFL. He's always been kind of this snarky, very funny, very innovative coach, and he's not for everyone, but he's in the right place. He's always believed in Tua. He's defended Tua since he's gotten there. Very different from the coaching staff that preceded this. Coach Flores, who I'm also a fan of, did not believe in Tua, was looking to move on from him, was trying to make deals to bring in other quarterbacks. And when things are clicking, this is going to be one of the most explosive offenses, maybe the most, but certainly one of the most explosive offenses in the league when it's clicking. Raheem Mostert is blazing fast, right? They moved on from Mike Gesicki, so the only position where they got slower is tight end. They have a slower player at tight end than they have previously, but every other position, they either stayed fast or got faster, with the exception of tight end.
And you probably didn't see this just for a moment. Brian Daboll looked like he was this close to crying. I mean, you should see his face, man. I should take a picture of that one.
Well, here's what it is. Brian Daboll realizes that he's a great coach, but all the coaching in the world can't make up for the fact that you don't have the horses. They don't have the players. They are going to be struggling this year. They're going to struggle. They're going to win games. I mean, they're not going to be like the Cardinals or something like that. They're not going to be terrible, but they're going to struggle, especially against teams with elite talent, right? That when they go up against teams like the Eagles, they go up against teams like Dallas, when they go up against the best teams in football, this is what it's going to look like. I mean, maybe not quite 40-0. They had a lot of really unfortunate things happen.
Horrible. But, they by a yard. I mean, literally,
Well, they had a lot of turnovers. They had a lot of sacks. They're going to struggle against the elites, right? They're going to struggle against the elites. They're going to beat some bad teams, even some average teams. But the elites. That was
an embarrassment. That wasn't. You know what? As I look at the Giants this year, I'm reminded of. I've been so infected by the Bill Parcells Giants that to me, to see them, and Tom Coughlin, to me, to see them line up in not an I formation is stunning. And yet that's what they did. They lost their character. The Giants, the G-men, have lost their identity. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, even more so on defense than offense. So when you look at them on defense, not say they don't have any players. They do. They have some players. But think about you can't expect to find Lawrence Taylor again. That wouldn't be fair to expect. But maybe Yosi Uemura. They don't have an Osi Umenyiora type player. They sure as heck don't have a Michael Strahan type. Carl Banks. I mean, you think about they had Harry Carson. Like they don't have even Gary Reasons, right? They had even the guys who were sort of the second tier guys in their defense of the past would be first tier guys on the defense they have now. The Giants are going to win games. They're not, terrible, but they're going to definitely struggle when they go against these types of teams. Now, like I said, they shouldn't have lost this game that badly. They had a lot of turnovers. They had balls punched out. They had, just all the ways that you can look bad. They looked bad. They got whipped up front like crazy. So some of that is fixable, and some of that, frankly, Zenny isn't. When they go up against teams that have great pass rushers, that's how they're kind of going to look. But if you're looking for good news, Jalen Hyatt got out there, did a little something.
Yeah.
They still need to figure out something about their. I don't dislike Hyatt. I don't dislike Hodgins, but they've got some work to do at wide receiver. They still do. Darius Slayton is a specialist. Sterling Shepard, when healthy, is an effective slot receiver. Paris Campbell, on a better team, would be on a fourth, fifth instead of a third type receiver. Andrew Thomas is a guy that they like a lot, and he's had good games, but I think just because of a few of his limitations, he's a good player. But when he goes against the elite level guys who can really counter back, once get him leaning one way and counter back to the inside, he's going to give it up against those guys. Matt Part is an interesting player. He's a swing tackle. I don't dislike him. Evan Neal, I'm not sold on. I mean, he's a right tackle, but he's another guy that's really good in the run game, but not great in the pass game. Mark Lewinsky is a guy you'd be looking to upgrade. He's not a guy that you don't want to settle for having him out there. John Michael Schmitz is a rookie, but he's a talented one. I think the arrow is firmly pointed up on him. I would try to find a way to get Shane Lemieux on the field, whether it be probably a right guard, quite frankly. And then I would probably make Lewinsky like my swing guard, backing up Ben Bredesen and the aforementioned Shane Lemieux. I like Joshua Ezeudu, but once again, he's another guy that struggles in pass protection. Very good in the run game, struggles. That's true of a lot of the players on their offensive line, quite frankly, is they're all good going forward and not as good backing up. I would use more two tight ends as well, especially against teams that can really rush the passer. Get Bellinger, who's a good blocker, and Waller, who's an okay blocker. For today's football, an okay blocker. He would not have been considered a good blocker 20, 25, 30, 35.
Hey, Bill, center your camera a little bit. Your face is off to the right. Yeah, there you Keep going. A little bit more. Yeah, perfect. All right, yeah. Hey, by the way, the NFL has more on Tua in their recap. Listen to this, folks.
I think it's the number 4 performance on opening day in the history of the league, right?
Yeah, it says Tagovailoa passed for 466 yards, the 4th most passing yards in a season opening game in NFL history ever, trailing only Pro Football Hall of Famer Norm Van Brocklin, 554 yards in 1951, Tom Brady, 517 yards in 2011, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Dan Marino, 473 yards in 94. Tagovailoa, who recorded 469 passing yards and 6 touchdowns in week 2 of the 2022 season, is the 4th quarterback all time with 2 games of at least 450 passing yards and 3 touchdown passes in their first 4 career seasons, joining Mark Bulger, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill registered 215 yards, the 3rd most receiving yards in an opening game in NFL history, trailing only Frank Clark with 241 yards in 1962, and Anquan Bolden 217 yards in 2023.
His debut.
Right.
Yeah, that was his debut game, first game of his career.
Yeah. Hill, it goes on to read, registered his 3rd career game with at least 200 receiving yards and multiple touchdown receptions, and joined Pro Football Hall of Famer Don Hutson 4 games and Charlie Hennigan 3 as only players in NFL history with at least 3 career games with at least 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdown receptions. Hill recorded his 10th career game with at least 10 receptions and 150 yards, tied with Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, 10 games, Antonio Brown, 10 games, Andre Johnson, 10 games, and Julio Jones, 10 games for the no such games ever. Wow. I mean, that's I gotta study the Dolphins offense like I never have before. Woo! I mean,
it's the offense that you saw the 49ers run with some wrinkles, some Mike McDaniel specific wrinkles.
Here's why I say that, Bill. Here's why I stress that, because they have a better short passing game than the Niners do.
There's two things that they have that you don't see as much in the Niners. Way more rail routes. They essentially, it's like running a vertical from straight out of the backfield. And sometimes they'll put Hill in the backfield, but Devin Achane is a 4.3, 4.40 guy. He's one of their backs. And as I mentioned before, another sub 4 guy is Raheem Mostert. And what happens is, in a rail route, especially one that comes off play action, the linebackers are taking at least an initial step, or at least leaning forward at snap. So it takes them a second, not a second, but it takes them a split second to read, to go from seeing run to reading pass. And somebody with that kind of speed who's running, coming through the line as if they were going to be receiving the ball, but instead they just take up the field. If the ball is placed correctly and that guy gets a full head of steam, now there's a linebacker who's off balance trying to keep up with an extremely fast receiver. There's a lot of.
Hey, Jay Boogie says it's Darrell Bell's passing game. What about that, Bill?
I mean, it's not just Darrell Bell's passing game. It's several people's passing game, but Darrell Bell is one of the influences. We talked about Shanahan, one of the influences. And, Shanahan spent time with McVay when they were all together with, look at that staff, right? O'Connell, who's now with the Vikings as their coach. You had Shanahan, you had McVay, you had LaFleur, and all on the same staff working for Gruden. But there's some influences from that as well. That every coach always brings in all their influences, so it's not like it's just one person's.
Hey, by the way, Mike Still was working on a book about Mike Shanahan's innovations.
Yeah. So it's a melange. It's all of the above. And so all of his influences, and then his own little wrinkles. Like I said, he puts a lot of his own little wrinkles in there as well. He's a really brilliant play designer himself. So it's all of those things.
And so it goes on to say we're talking 7 on not 7 on your side, but 7 from Sunday. San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy passed for 220 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions for a 101.3 rating in the 49ers 30-7 win at Pittsburgh. Purdy is the first quarterback in NFL history to win each of his first 6 career season starts and throw at least 2 touchdown passes in each start. Wow. Purdy is the first quarterback in NFL history with a passer rating of 95 or higher in each of his first 6 career season starts. That's a testament to running pure Bill Walsh offense, at a time when a lot of teams have really arguably gotten away from it. What do you think, Bill?
Well, I think it's not pure Bill Walsh offense because a lot of things that first of all, they are under center a lot, but they even use a little bit of pistol and they go to the gun, which
Coach Walsh actually had remarked that he intended to install the shotgun. So it wasn't like, I only do this, with drop back. He had shotgun plays.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't say he didn't, but because of certain things he wanted the quarterback to do, and as you talked earlier about the timing elements of their offense, so much of that was tied to 3, 5, and 7-step drops that they didn't do very much out of the gun. Right. Also, he believed in fullbacks, right? He believed in fullbacks in a way that they still have a fullback, but obviously you don't use fullbacks as much Tom Rathman, became a bit of a star even with the 49ers. But the main things that are different is they're attacking sometimes different elements of the defense, not always with just the old oblique stretch, right? The old triangles, right? They do that at times. They do that quite a bit, but they also attack other ways as well. And some of those ways are influenced by things that came about after the Bill Walsh offense. So everybody's running elements of air raid, right? And the air raid is essentially still kind of, an offshoot to some extent of West Coast, but it's stretched out. It's elongated. It's, you're widening things and stretching things out even more than you would do in a true West Coast offense. And they simplify, obviously, some of the nomenclature, some of the play calling, just so that these young guys who are coming from offenses where they've never had to spit out all that verbiage, so they simplify some things there as well. So it's not the pure Bill Walsh offense. Nobody runs the pure Bill Walsh offense anymore. But, with 3 wides more than, because Bill Walsh believed in 2 backs a lot.
As we close out, let's just take a look. The NFL has a long list of 7s from Sunday. So I'm going to pick out the one I think is the last most important one of the ones we talked about. Cardinal rookie quarterback Bryce Young, the number 1 overall selection. This is what I'm reading from right here, folks. In the 2023 NFL draft. By the way, you can watch my interview in press conference with Bryce Young right here at Zennie62. Just type Bryce Young press Zennie62 here on YouTube. You'll see it, but I digress. The number 1 overall selection in 2023 NFL draft, Houston rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, interview here too as well. Number 2, Indianapolis rookie Anthony Richardson, number 4, interview here too in Zennie62. Each made their first career starts on kickoff weekend. With 3 rookie quarterbacks starting week 1, 2023 joins 2012, 5 rookie quarterbacks. In 2021, 3 as the only season since 1970 in which at least 3 rookie quarterbacks started in week 1. Stroud completed 28 passes on Sunday, tied with Trevor Lawrence, 28 completions in week 1 of 2021, and Keith Null, week 28
Yes, right.
week 14, 2009, for the 4th most completions ever by a quarterback in his NFL debut. Only Sam Bradford, 32 in week 1, 2010. Mac Jones, 29 week 1 in 2021. And Kyler Murray, 29 in week 1, 2019, had more. Anthony Richardson, who was 21 years old and 21 years and 111 days old, is the youngest player in the Super Bowl era to record both a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the same game. Richardson became the first 5th rookie since 1970 to record both the passing and a rushing touchdown in week 1, joining Deshaun Kaiser, 2017, Archie Manning, 1971, Cam Newton, 2011, and Chris Winkie in 2001. What do you think about those stats to close us out?
Well, Anthony Richardson looked like exactly, who I've expected him to be. He made some very nice plays, and he made some, right? I mean, rookie mistakes. And that's who he is. He's got to remember to get his feet under control. As big and strong as he is, he still needs to. Good mechanics, even for big, strong players, matter. He needs to realize when a play is just dead, and to start realizing, hey, sometimes you just throw it away. When he figures out some of the fine points, he improves his ball placement, things like that, he'll truly become something special. But he's got to work on some things. He's got work to do, like any other, rookie starter at quarterback. But yeah, he's very talented, obviously.
Bill, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yes, sir.
That was a nice little format. We're gonna do that more often. So we say stupid things and we critique what we said that was stupid and smart.
Yes, so that is a great idea.
It's too bad Vinny didn't join us, or we're still waiting on Mr. Carrillo and others. But hey, folks, if you want to join us and become part of the gang too, hey, we need NFL vloggers, women too. So I'm gonna go on a hunt. So with my bow and arrow. No, I didn't mean that. Anyway, but folks, it is 11:35 in the East, 10:35 Central. It's late. Bill, stick around in the background.
Okay.
Thank you all for watching. Jay Boogie, thank you for your comments. Subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube. Bookmark Zennie62.com. Bookmark OaklandNewsOnline.com and OaklandNewsNowBlog.com. That ends the stream. Thank you.